You know, the Punishing One has been extremely disruptive in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Ever since it came out, we've lost the Finalizer counter to Executor. We've basically lost the Negotiator counter, although I know people are working on it. I know Sanjita's got it, but it's, you know, it's hit and miss, and man, my Anakin seems to get targeted every time, which kind of kills that. We've also lost the Profundity. It's killed 3 counters to the Executor and even countered Leviathan at first, and they fixed it, but regardless, Punishing One has changed the way we look at the Executor fleet from top to bottom. Extremely disruptive, extremely game-changing. And I was thinking about that the other day because as I do all these roster reviews, I used to look at people's first order fleets to say, hey, is your first order fleet ready to counter an Executor? And now I don't even bother. I don't look at that first order fleet because it doesn't matter. It's not countering Executor anymore in the game. What are the other most disruptive or game-changing characters that have ever been released? The characters that came in and just blew up the game in one fashion or another. This is your top 10 disruptive, game-changing, game-blower-upper characters ever released in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Greetings and hello there, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars dad, Nooch Too Good. And yes, we already mentioned the Punishing One as one of the recent, maybe the very most recent complete disruptor in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. Has kind of taken all, like I mentioned, all those counters. And again, I know people are starting to work on counters for the Executor, but none of them they all seem like a little bit iffy to me. Like you got to have things go right or break right for you. The Punishing One has disrupted fleets in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and disrupted multiple counters for multiple fleets in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And I'm going to kind of go back and forth and probably back so we can finish on a fourth. We're talking about some old characters that disrupted the game and some new characters that have disrupted the game of Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And right now we're looking here at Commander Luke Skywalker. I cannot talk about disrupting the game without talking about Commander Luke Skywalker. You know, and I go back originally to when he came out. Not only was he running the squad arena meta, he was soloing by himself. He soloed the Rancor raid, which we were all struggling to work on. I mean, literally, you would put team after team after team out there. There were I think we had found maybe 1 or 2 teams with Jin, Urso, and Tebow that could maybe get through the whole event. It was questionable. Commander Luke Skywalker comes in the game and just completely turns that original raid on and said, back when raids really mattered in the game, this was the only way to unlock Han Solo, the original Han Solo in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. So Commander Luke Skywalker, and then you look at that disruption, he is still an extremely relevant and important Star Wars character, whatever, in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. You need him to unlock Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. He just runs a great team. His team gets military might done for you. He performs really, really well, I think, all the way through Grand Arena. I think you can say that even in Kyber levels of Grand Arena, you're using CLS at some point during that battle. You could probably about due for a lifter of some sort, but Commander Luke Skywalker, right out of the gate, completely blew up the Rancor raid. They had to work on a new raid because he was just doing it all by himself. You go all the way to the end of this. He's going to do it. He's going to go straight through this thing. Nobody else needed. Just Commander Luke Skywalker done, and the Rancor is down. Now, it makes some sense because it's Luke, right? Luke beat the Rancor. Anyway, my first and earliest disruptor, maybe not earliest. I might have to. No, yeah, he's the earliest. Yep. Commander Luke Skywalker blowing up that Rancor raid. Now, you are not going to believe this one. This is an Arnold video from October 2016. He's not on the screen. He's kind of chilling in the background, talking about General Kenobi, who had just been released. General Kenobi was the character unlock on the heroic HAAT raid, the heroic AAT. And so when General Kenobi came out, he just became like the go-to tank for all teams in the game. You can see here he worked as a leader for a long time. Him with Barriss Offee on the team. When Barriss Offee had her Zeta, you couldn't get through these teams. He worked as a leader on a team. He became the go-to, especially light side tank, but he really blew up the idea of what we thought about as tanks in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And I look at him as being disruptive because of what he brought to the game, because he ended up being in every lineup. If you go back and look at all those lineups, 2016, 2017, 2018, all the way up to the Revan meta, all the way through Jedi Knight Revan, and even after Jedi Knight Revan, he became the tank in every single one of those teams. You had a General Kenobi team with Nihilus, you had a General Kenobi team, he was on the Jedi Knight Revan team. He just ended up on every single team as the primary tank in the game, and even to this day sits on a Jedi Master Kenobi team as one of the main tanks in the game. He serves well at a Padme team. He goes all over on all sorts of teams. General Kenobi came in, didn't really disrupt any raids, but he blew up Squad Arena, being, if you didn't have him in the early days of Squad Arena, when that was what really mattered in the game, that's where your crystals came from, it wasn't Fleet Arena, then you really didn't stand a chance. General Kenobi was a very disruptive force and lasts to this day as an extremely important character in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And let's get over to a video from my pal, the Gerbil. This is a video from 3 years ago when Wampa had first got the Omicron. This is a video of Wampa taking out General Grievous in Grand Arena. And yeah, I know you're sitting there thinking, okay, yeah, we all know about this. I mean, Wampa just wipes out General Grievous. Wampa wipes out basic Mon Mothma teams. Wampa takes out Phasma. Wampa can kill a lot of other teams if if you leave them out there exposed. Wampa's a very great early character to farm in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes for Grand Arena. You get her Zeta and her Omicron, and boom, you're crushing people. You guys are like, it's just common sense. It was not common sense when this came out. Wampa had been used, like, it had been years since anybody touched Wampa on their roster, and Wampa had been used sparingly. There was an HAAT team, again, go back to that was was the first team to be able to solo the HAAT all the way from front to back, and that had Wampa in there. There were some uses for Wampa against Jedi or Darth Revan meta. Other than that, Wampa did not really get used all that much, and it literally had not been touched in, I don't know, 3 or 4 years in the game at all. Just nobody was using it. So when this came out, this is an absolutely disruptive character. When you look at early levels of Grand Arena, you guys listen to me. I tell you, get that Wampa unlocked. Get the Wampa unlocked early. She's going to change up your early rounds of Grand Arena all the way until you get to Kyber. And I probably use her once out of every 3 battle, what is that? Once every round of Grand Arena, meaning 3 fights. I'll use Wampa once in there, maybe twice, still in Kyber 2 today. So Wampa, completely disruptive, was our first opportunities to really have a character geared on and saying, this is one character that makes her own team, that takes out entire other teams, and now I can deal with Grievous, and it's really made Grievous and Iden Versio came out, just has made those teams into nothing but Wampa bait at this point, and that was a very unique and different idea at the time. And can we talk about the Houndstooth here, completely disrupting fleets for the last 6.5 years? There's Mobile Gamer talking about the Houndstooth release 6.5 years ago, and to this day, it still remains probably the best tank and the most versatile tank in the game. Yeah, we're all using it on an Executor now, but if you don't have Executor, you can throw it onto almost any other fleet, and it's going to cause big problems for your opponent. Whenever there's a Houndstooth out there, you've got to work your way around the Houndstooth. It is the ultimate tank ship in this game. It has been for 6.5 years. It blew up all the feet, but if you go look up Houndstooth, Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, what you will find is a whole bunch of videos of people talking about how to counter the Houndstooth. These videos are all 4, 5, 6 years old. And when you see that many videos talking about how to counter something, you know that thing, the Houndstooth in this case, completely disrupted and blew up this game and made this game all about that one thing. The game was only about Houndstooth and trying to figure out how to counter it for a long time. And even now with the Executor, when it starts taunting, it never stops taunting. You've got to deal with the Houndstooth in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes all the way through 6.5 years, still sitting there as the best tank ship in this game. Next, I want to go back and look at Darth Malak here. Now, Darth Malak is disruptive for a few different reasons. One, yeah, he's still an extremely relevant character in the game, going with your Darth Malgus team. You've got to get him to Relic 9 to get your Leviathan. I get it. And at the time that Malak came out, he supplemented the Darth Revan team that had just come out a month before and really made that team into the force that it was. That team stayed at the top of Squad Arena for over a year. The Revan meta was just torture on all of us in the game. But here's the primary reason that Malak was so disruptive to the game. A lot of people quit. Darth Revan was kind of the tipping point for a whole lot of people playing Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And I think it really changed. I think the release of Jedi Knight Revan followed with that being the meta for 3 months. And 3 months later, we got Darth Revan, and that was the meta then. And it was kind of, those were actually kind of equal teams until Darth Revan came out a month after, Darth Malak came out a month after Darth Revan and upset the apple cart. And then Darth Revan with Malak sat right there in the leader meta spot in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes for more than a year. And a lot of people, when that happened, picked up their toys and went home. They just said, you know what, forget it. If you guys are just going to abuse me like this, if I have to keep spending upon spending upon spending to keep up, by the way, look at Thrawn there. I maybe should have Thrawn there, but I don't have Thrawn. But that Thrawn lasted a long time in meta. Thrawn lasted a long time in meta teams this game. I think I missed out. Thrawn's not coming. That was when I missed out. Anyway, Darth Malak resulted in, and if you talk to people that have come back to play the game, like somewhere in the range of 60 to 70% of them quit when the Darth Revan and specifically Darth Malak came out to the game. It's like, whoa, I just spent $500 to unlock Darth Revan on day one because I got to end. That's like, oh, now I got to go get Darth Malak too? It was a giant, not only as a character, because he still is a great character in the game, but the actions that happened there, I really believe that that was when Capital Games started to look at matchups, you know, allowing people at lower levels to play against all other people at lower levels in Grand Arena. I think it changed the way, and I don't have this on record or anything, but I do believe that Darth Malak and the exodus of players kind of changed the way that Capital Games looked at structuring their game and how to expose players and bring players to the game and keep players in the game. Because I mean, we look at that meta lasting a year, right? They were working on stuff during the year to try to figure out what's going on because it just needed a lot of changes. And Darth Malak really threw a giant wrench in the plans because a lot of people quit over Darth Malak. And who was the guy that eventually unseated and knocked Darth Malak and Darth Revan off their perch? Gas. General Skywalker. Look at those character models, by the way. Let's go back up just a moment there. Talk about disruptive. My goodness. Look at these things. That is pretty awful. That's not good. Anyway, Gas comes into the game and just absolutely rolls over every other team. I mean, he was kind of like the pre-Galactic Legend. You know, after Gas, we started getting Galactic Legends, but he was just blowing up. I mean, just walking right over Malak really ended that. And he's still, you know, that Gas team today is still relevant. And when you get the Gas team in the right situations on offense, you can still really blow things up with him. Or you put him on a Jedi Master Kenobi team, he does damage there. You need to get Gas unlocked for both Ahsoka and Lord Vader, and if he goes in a Jedi Master Kenobi team, that ties him in with all three of those late game Galactic Legends. General Skywalker with the 501st was really a massive disruption to the game with the idea of what one team could accomplish, what one team completely built from the beginning, you know, one clone team here, you know, digging into that Galactic Republic era. He really blew up the game and has remained relevant to this day and really was such a great character. When you looked at those early rounds of Grand Arena, farming Gas as quick as possible was really, really important to that at the time. So Gas came on the scene. Gas blew everything up. That's why I tell you to charge your gas holes. Let me just give a little shout out to your pal and my pal, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Our first Galactic Legend, I think he came out a couple days before Rey. I don't remember how it worked exactly. They were the first two Galactic Legends, just back to back, right there. Screen recording in the background. Watch everybody. Anyway, let's give a huge shout out to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and recently lifted up by Darkseid Rey and doing amazing things, but the guy has remained relevant throughout, and when he came out, we finally had a character that could solo the heroic Sith raid. And guys, these raids used to be so meaningful in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. I know they're different now, and it's not like it used to be, not unlocking a character through it. And I never did this. I never actually did a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren solo through the Sith raid, but apparently it was done here. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren changed the game in so many ways for us. We didn't realize that a character group could just be this freaking good. And he's kept it up all the way through. You know, I think people quickly realized that he was the way to go. You looked at, I started a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren free-to-play account. Arnold started a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren free-to-play. We started those within a few weeks of each other, actually, back in the day. I think it was December 2020 and January 2021, if I remember right. Kylo was the way to go, and he still holds it. He beats all sorts of other galactic legends. He accomplishes so much in this game, and I think he's just the most fun character. He introduces Siphon, and you just build up that damage and build it and build it and build. I have a lot of fun. He's my favorite character in the game. I love Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. I have a blast playing with him. I love his mechanics. I love the ramping. I love the stacking. I just love the guy. He absolutely disrupted the game by coming in and just destroying the heroic Sith raid and becoming the character that everybody had to deal with, whatever your situation was. He was so amazing, still amazing to this day. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. And then a little while, it was like 6 months maybe after Supreme Leader Kylo Ren came out. It might have been like a year, I don't remember. It was after Kylo Ren, and here you see him take out Lord Vader. Starkiller came into our lives, and it was like, wait a minute, you mean we actually have a character that is truly built for Grand Arena to remove galactic legends in Grand Arena? We never had that before. You know, he resistant stun. He's going out there. He's taking out Lord Vader. He's taking out Rey. You don't see Kylo on defense anymore. We had never had that character just designed for Grand Arena. Now we see a lot of those. You know, we have characters that get their Grand Arena Omicrons. They get Grand Arena Datacrons when they come out. We get a lot of that now, but that was not a thing back in the day as much. And Starkiller was kind of opened up a hey, there you go. You got sent to real by Dr. Brady Smith. And I just pulled these videos. I went to try to find some old videos, and there you go. Starkiller opened up kind of a whole new world for Star Wars guy. He absolutely broke the game and just disrupted. I think he's more of a disruptor than a breaker. You know, really took it to a point where if you got Starkiller on your roster, you're taking on Galactic Legends in Grand Arena, and that was very, very meaningful. And again, another guy that still carries a lot of value to this day. You guys see me using Starkiller every single round of Grand Arena. I use the guy, but Starkiller absolutely disrupted it and changed the way the characters work and changed the way that the focus of game modes went for different characters. Big game changer, Starkiller. Well, we already brought up the punishing one, so this is our final, 10 disruptive, game-changing characters, game-breaking characters. I don't think this list can be made without Darth Bane on it. It's really crazy what he has done to this game. Lord Vader taking a hit again here from Calvin Awesome. Darth Bane is just an absolutely broken character in Grand Arena, and he still works in other game modes too, but Grand Arena, the guy is an absolute monster. You guys know it. I know it. I mean, talk about Starkiller. This guy goes through Galactic Legends like they're not even there. It really is crazy. I dismantled Leia with him. You take out Lord Vader. He takes out Jabba. I think he takes out everybody except Jedi Master Kenobi. I'd have to think about it a little bit more. But the guy is a menace. He's a menace. Originally designed as the lifter for Sith Eternal Emperor, he quickly turned into, hey, give me another Sith on my team at Relic 7, and I'll take care of anything you put in front of me. That's what he turned into, and it's exactly what, Calvin shocked here. That was maybe the first time he did it. Darth Bane is an absolute menace in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, and he completely broke this game. Specifically in Grand Arena, but we love Darth Bane. I love Darth Bane. You love Darth Bane. Therefore, we love Darth Bane. It wasn't just a royal we, it was a wee. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Darth Bane's awesome. There are our top 10 most disruptive, most game-breaking characters in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes history. I think I probably left Thrawn off that list, but no, look at Calvin's face. That's crazy. Anyway, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, let me know if I missed any characters out there. I'd love to hear from you as your opinions down there. You know the comments are always really good around here while we keep it to the game. Otherwise, I'm not sure about the comments. Anywho, love y'all. I will talk to you soon. And as always, remember, Nooch too good.